Welcome back to the Spiritual Noob. I'm going to be changing the name of this channel. Probably going to change it today. I was thinking of the reason why I'm changing the name of it is because this channel is centered around tarot flip throughs and tarot tutorials. That's what this channel is going to be geared towards. That's the niche here. So I have another channel. My original intent for this channel was to have like spiritual conversation and a little bit of tarot. I don't know what my original intent was, but you know what my original intent was? It was to kind of like have a video journal or a video diary of my personal spiritual awakening. And so things have kind of evolved. So I'm going to have another channel called The Spiritual Noob where we actually talk about spiritual things and have guests on, and it's going to be kind of podcast format. This channel is more tarot tutorials and looking at different tarot decks because I do love tarot decks and I do buy a lot of tarot decks and I like to do flip throughs. So this channel, let me know in the comments. Do you guys want it to be, I don't know, maybe. So, okay, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to do that because I think I'm going to change it today. I'm like really like deciding on the fly. I think I want to just make it, I want to keep it kind of consistent because the Spiritual Noob is going to be like a sister channel to this channel. So I think I want to like maybe make this like SN Tarot or SN Tarot Tutorial, something like that. So it would kind of be like the Spiritual Noob. I don't know. We'll think. I think I'm going to change the name of it today, though. So by the time this airs, the name of this channel is probably going to be changed. But anyway, let's get into the purpose of the video. So I wanted to talk about the Fool card, and the reason I'm kind of showing the World card at the same time is because the Fool card and the World card are very similar. It's like our lives are like, it's like a loop, like a computer loop. It's like we start with we start a certain quest, we finish a certain quest. We start a certain quest, we finish a certain quest. We start a certain quest and we finish a certain quest. And that happens like countless times, probably an infinite, maybe not infinite, but it happens like many times throughout our lives. So the Fool, you know, it's the first card and it's a 0, and the World is a 0. It's completion, right? So you start the journey, you finish the journey. So I just wanted to kind of point that out because that's kind of like the journey we're on in our lives, right? The Fool's journey. So the Fool is the 0 also, it relates to unlimited potential, unrealized potential, and it's a portal into the possibilities, right? So we can't learn the possibilities until we jump into the abyss, until we jump into the possibilities, right? If we never try anything, if we keep ourselves sheltered, we never learn, we never grow, we never learn what we like, what we don't like. So the Fool is like a portal into learning about ourselves, learning, like source learning about itself, right? Which is the whole point of life. The whole point of life is source energy learning about itself through the experiences that we have. And not all experiences, this is kind of higher level. This is like not higher level. This is very kind of like, this is a deep dive into kind of like spiritual understanding. But we are able to have incarnations in places other than just Earth. and we learn from each incarnation. We're able to have incarnations in bodies other than human bodies. We can materialize into form anything, like anything and everything is of, I like to use the term source energy, because to me, God, but if you want to use the word God, you can use the word God, but to me, God does not describe what we're really talking about here. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the Fool here. It's really hard for me to read tarot without all this underlying spiritual understanding, which is why tarot. So I had a spiritual awakening, and the way I started getting into tarot was that I had questions for the universe. I've never been a praying person. I was never really a spiritual person before I started having a spiritual awakening. And I had questions, right? I had questions, and I had been led by spirit to watch YouTube tarot videos, right? And as I was watching these videos, I felt like they related a lot, but also 600 other people are watching the video. So how much relates to me, and how much is just, whatever. So I was like, okay, I need to learn tarot on my own so that I can read for myself, so I can ask questions to the universe and actually get answers that are for me, not for like 600 other people. So that's how I started learning tarot. That's the journey. That's the Fool's journey. See, that's a great example of the Fool's journey. It's like, I know nothing about tarot. Let me dive into this. Let me dive into spirituality. Okay, I dove into spirituality. Now, okay, I want to learn how to speak to spirit. So let me learn tarot. Like, we go on these journeys and it leads us to these places. Like a year ago, I would have never thought, like, okay, in a year from now, you're going to be reading tarot. You're going to be reading tarot for other people. And people are going to be offering you money to read them tarot. Right? So the things that are happening and the doors that are opening now from this journey of like taking a leap into the unknown, into that portal that teaches you about yourself and makes you learn things you never thought you would learn, like that's the Fool's journey. So, okay, so we're getting into, this is the first card in the journey of learning tarot, right? So let me explain tarot a little bit. So you have the major arcana and the minor arcana. And arcana is Latin for secret. So you have the major secrets and the minor secrets. And the major secrets are the secrets of the spiritual realm. So I can tell how spiritual a person is, or how tapped into spirit a person is, because we're all spiritual. We're all spiritual beings having a human existence. So I can always tell how tapped into spirit people are by the cards that come out in their reading, which is very interesting. I can tell when people are having an awakening, when people are having Kundalini awakening, I can tell that, and so, yeah, so it's basically learning the secrets of life. The minor arcana is like the everyday happenings of our life, how we get along with our employees, how we're getting along with our family, how we're getting along with our, this is family, but our romantic partners, we can see what's going on with business dealings. We can see whether or not a person's getting married. We can see whether or not a person's having a baby. Like, all of those things are tied into the minor arcana, right? And the major arcana, like, it'll show. So, like, there are cards in the major arcana that say the same thing. Like, for instance, the Lovers and the Two of Cups are very similar. So the Lovers is in the major arcana, so it's a more spiritual experience, right? And the Two of Cups is in the minor arcana. They both kind of symbolize partnership, but the Lovers is a more, like, in my view, it's a more spiritual partnership. The Two of Cups is a more worldly partnership. right? So for instance, the difference between a couple that is very spiritual connected, like both of them are very spiritually connected, the difference between that and a couple that's not, maybe the difference between the Lover's card and the Two of Cups, right? So those are kind of things I read into when I'm reading tarot to kind of tell me the difference. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a soul, like every connection that we have is a soul connection, because we're all souls, right? So they're all soul connections. But are we talking about like a twin flame connection here? Which twin flame can also, like, it can be a romantic connection. A lot of times we talk about twin flame as a romantic connection, but it can be literally like, basically a twin flame is like a soul that breaks apart into pieces and like incarnates into two different things. So it literally can be a soul that incarnates into a person and a tree, a person and a dog, a person and another person. And in that case, it can be like a twin flame romantic connection, but also that connection is going to be very passionate, very intense. And it can be intense in the positive way. It can be intense in the negative way, right? So, I'm going on tangents here, but this is how I read. When people say, well, man, how did you know all this stuff about my life? It's because I look into those different kind of details. And the more I learn about tarot, because I'm still beginning, I've only been reading since December, but the more I learn about tarot, like the astrological correspondences, numerology, I know a lot about numerology. So I can already pick up on certain things with numerology, but I don't know everything about numerology. So the better I get at these different things, the better I'll get at reading deeper and deeper meanings into tarot. So it doesn't, when you don't know like the astrological correspondences and the numerology of the cards and all these different things, it doesn't mean that you're not a good tarot reader. It just means that maybe you're not seeing deeper meanings that a tarot. And also, a person could be reading tarot for 40 years, but if they haven't taken the time to learn those meanings, they might possibly be they may give like less, how am I supposed to word this? They may give readings that are not as deep as people who have been reading for less amounts of time, because there's a lot of people who are really like, there are some people, I'm not saying that one way is better than the other in any way, shape, or form, right? Because the tarot reader that's meant for you to be read by is who you're going to be sent to, right? But I think tarot does take, it takes practice, it takes study, it can take reading books, which I have not read any books on tarot yet. I do have a book on tarot I have 2 books on tarot that I need to read. But there's like there's so much that I'm taking in that I'm just kind of giving myself the time to take it in. Tarot is a lifelong journey, right? So I have the time, and at least as long as I just try to do something every day. I try to read at least one person every day. I read myself every day. I look at tutorials about tarot every day on YouTube. Well, not every day. That's a lie. But I've looked at tutorials several times on YouTube. Like I'll go through the major arcana like several times, like drilling that information into my head. Some people don't want to learn tarot that way. Some people take a much more laid back approach. Like some people will go, I've heard some people say that they went a couple months without picking up a deck. Like, I'm not that way. Like, I read tarot every day because I want to learn something every day or solidify information every day. Like, the more you go through the tarot cards and the more you read meanings, I'll still read from the guidebook, especially when it's like for myself and I'm just kind of like practicing and learning. I'll read from the guidebook even if I feel like I know the meaning of that card, because we think we know the meaning of a card and then we kind of slack off a little bit, and then the meaning that we think a card should mean becomes the meaning that like solidifies in our brain. but there's a lot of different meanings that a card can have. And so if you get like stuck in a certain meaning and you stop looking that card up, you can get stuck in one way of interpreting a card, right? So I try to keep myself open to like all the different interpretations. And yeah, so I still will look up meanings of cards. Plus, like every tarot deck has a different voice, has a different guidebook, has a different voice and a different like they interpret the meaning of the card the same way, but there will be like a little different kind of like color, right? Just like we all have our different colors, we all have our different personalities, right? And tarot is the same way. So I like to read from the guidebook. So tarot, going back to kind of the roots of tarot, tarot was so tarot has been around for a while. I heard that they talk about there's different things that they say, like here I got this from The Fool's Journey, but it says that tarot was discovered in 15th century Italy, but tarot goes all the way back to the ancient Egyptians. You know, it goes back. It's been around. It's not necessarily like this is how tarot works, which I think a lot of people don't understand this, even like tarot readers. I found that like not all tarot readers, let's say this, like I'm not saying that any tarot reader is better or worse than any other tarot reader. That's not what I'm saying, but tarot readers are not all created the same. Like just because you're a tarot reader doesn't mean you really have a full understanding of how tarot works. Just because you read tarot doesn't even mean you, at your heart, you may not even believe in tarot. Like to me, if you have a belief system that doesn't believe in tarot and you, with all your heart, you believe in that belief system, there's a conflict. If you're reading tarot and you come from a belief system that doesn't believe in tarot, you're automatically reading tarot from a place of like, from a negative place. And we're conscious creators, so it really does matter what you believe. So I just have to say that because that's kind of like a bug in my bonnet. People who read tarot and have belief systems that like think tarot is the devil, that's a problem. And then a lot of times those people will come out of like reading tarot and they'll be like, oh, you know, I was doing demonic work for so many years and now I've turned to Christ and stuff like that. Well, it's only demonic if you believe it's demonic. Everything has light and darkness to it. Everything has a positive and negative charge to it, right? So if you come at it from a place of this is bad, this is negative, you're going to see bad and negative in it. And also, I'm not sure I would want to get a tarot reading from somebody that ultimately doesn't believe in tarot, you know? So that's just my personal opinion, and that's neither here nor there. I kind of got off topic because my point is that, you know, tarot has actually always been around, and all tarot is, everything is vibration, right? Everything is vibration. So like messages are vibration. I could literally I could get like index cards and write a message on each index card and each index card, and that's an oracle set. What makes it an oracle set instead of a tarot set is because tarot abides by particular rules. You have 78 cards with 78 different meanings, and the meaning stays the same even if the picture on the card changes, even if the artist changes. That card, like the Fool, has a message. The Fool card has a message. It's zero. It's card number 0. It's the Fool. So even if the picture on the card changes, the message stays the same because this is the Fool card, and we all know what the Fool card means. Well, tarot readers know what the Fool card means, right? So every message has a vibration, and every experience that we're holding in our energy body has a vibration. So all tarot is, I like to compare it to like taking your blood pressure, because you have a blood pressure reading within your body. Your body is pumping your heart is pumping in a certain way. And if I take your blood pressure, I'm going to get the number. I'm going to understand about your heart. I can't see how your heart is pumping. I can't listen to you and tell what's going on with your heart, but I can take your blood pressure and I can figure out what's going on with your heart. Well, tarot is the same way. We all have an energetic signature within us. Every experience that we've had has a certain energetic signature, and it gets attached to us, right? Every person we've met, every experience we've had, it all has an energetic signature. And we can release energy, we can transmute energy, but energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So when we've gone through a negative experience, that experience is in our energy body. So we can release it. This is why healing is so important, because healing is basically the releasing of negative energy within our energy body. So when we have an experience, the moment you feel something, because all emotion is a compass to how aligned you are with your higher self, how aligned you are with your higher self, how aligned the other people that you're interacting with are with your higher self. If your higher self is like, no, that person's gonna lead you astray, or that person's energy is not good for you, that person's gonna feel bad in your life, right? So all experiences is the compass to let us know how aligned we are with our higher self, or how aligned that action was with our higher self, with what our higher self wants for us. So, and that's going to be different for everybody, even though we're all tapped in on a soul level. The way I'm really getting deep into this. The way I've heard it explained is that we're all one, just like the ocean. Like every drop of water in the ocean makes up the ocean, but every drop of water is unique. Every current within the ocean, every current is like a collection of drops of water. So you have different soul groups that are all part of the one, but they're their own current within the one. So there's duality. So there's non-duality, and there's also duality. There's both, right? There's oneness and there's duality. There's separateness and within the oneness. So that is a lovely thought to me. I like to think about stuff like that. So anyway, so I have written down here that tarot started in 15th century Italy, but it actually has been around since ancient Egypt. And the way it works is that I'm just like kind of reiterating what I said. So the way it works is that, so when you get a tarot reading and you're like, oh my God, that was so on point. How did you know? I didn't know. I'm not psychic. Okay. You have an energetic signature based on your experiences. And the tarot has an energetic signature based on each card's meaning. Each card has a different energetic signature. So the cards match up with your personal energetic signature. And because of the fact that we're all one, we're not as individual as we think we are. So we may think our experiences are unique. Like, you don't know me. You haven't been through what I've been through. Well, actually, there's a lot of people who have been through what you've been through. You're not that unique because we're all one, right? It's just that there's certain currents in the ocean. So there's certain people who elected at a soul level to have the same experiences you've had. And there's certain people who elected at a soul level to have different experiences than you've had, right? That's why you can listen to a tarot reading on YouTube and 600 people have had similar experiences. It's because those 600 people were attracted to the same tarot reading, or those 600 people, their spirit guide. Everybody has different things that pop up in their YouTube feed, right? So those people that saw that tarot reading had the same type of energy going on within them. And that's why tarot works. It's not like, I'm not psychic. I'm pretty good at, excuse me, I got burps coming up. I'm pretty good at reading tarot, but I'm not psychic. I wish I had some water. Okay. So the R.W. Smith, though, was created in 1909. It's the Rider Waite. And Rider Waite, he basically created the major arcana meanings. And Pamela Coleman Smith was given like free reign to create the minor arcana. And Pamela Coleman Smith did all the artwork on all the cards, major arcana and minor arcana. So that's why it's the Rider Waite Smith. So if you hear people talking about the RWS, that's what they're talking about. And most tarot cards are, we say, Rider Waite Smith clones. Like a lot of different tarot cards, it'll be like not this exact artwork, but it'll be artwork that is very similar, maybe with a modern twist. Or maybe like Rider Waite Smith is a lot of like fair-skinned Caucasian people. There's not a lot of diversity, so you have a lot of decks in modern ages that try to incorporate that diversity into their deck, but it'll still be like a Rider Waite Smith. Then you have other decks that's like completely veers from the illustrations, but it's got the same meaning. So there are other decks. I'm going to do tutorials on those decks in the future. But right now, because I'm new to tarot, and I'm not trying to take in too much at once, I'm focusing on the Rider Waite Smith. So probably when I get done going through the 78, I'm doing one a week. So it'll take me 78 weeks to go through the whole Rider Waite Smith. So that'll be 52 weeks in a year. So it'll be about a month and a year and some months to get all the way through the Rider Waite Smith. And then I'll probably start with the Thoth after that. I know Thoth is going to be the next. And then I'll probably go to the Marseille after the Thoth, and then the Lenormand, and so I'll go through all of like the major, so for me, to me, like all the classic tarot decks, the Rider Waite Smith, the Thoth, the Marseille, those to me are like the different, it's like the human race. It's like tarot is the human race, right? And then you have races. You have sub-races within the whole human race. You have black people, white people, so all the different, so the Thoth, the Rider Waite Smith, the Marseille, the Lenormand, like the Solabusca, like all of these different tarot systems are like different races within tarot, right? Because they mainly follow the same rules. All of them do. Mainly. There are differences. That's why we're going to go through them and stuff like that. But they mainly follow the same system. Then within each race, you have individual artists that create individual decks. So it's like you have the individual people within each subcategory of human, right? That's how I see tarot. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to me. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, okay, so let's get to the meaning. So the Fool card, so you have, this little bag that he's carrying that's significant. The bag represents, like untapped collective knowledge of humanity. And it also kind of represents all of our experiences that we carry, right? So not necessarily as trauma, even when you transmute that energy of trauma into positive energy, it's still something we carry in our bag. So these are all the things that we collect throughout all of our life experiences. We carry it in this little bag. So the white rose is about, it's a symbol of purity and innocence. So like every time we start off on a new journey, we're very innocent. So that's like when I first decided to learn tarot, I had no idea what tarot was about. I had to learn. I was like, oh, this is going to be hard. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling like, oh, this is a lot to memorize. Like, oh, you have all these associations and correspondences. Like, I have all these things to learn. I still have a lot to learn about tarot, right? But it's a journey, right? And so now I'm taking the journey of like really ramping up my YouTube channel. So that's a fool's journey that I'm going on. There's a lot of journeys I'm taking with this, because it all is wrapped into my spiritual awakening experience, and all of these are like sub journeys that I'm taking. So I'm the fool with all of those different experiences, right? And so you're innocent. You're like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen here? Is my YouTube channel going to be successful? Am I going to make money from it one day? Like, which, by the way, if you're watching this, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. But, you know, like, am I going to get enough people to want to watch to where I can actually make money from it? I don't know. I just have to start. I have to start and see what happens with it, you know? At the very least, I'm going to learn more. I'm going to get deeper knowledge, because I'm going through each card one by one, and I have to learn myself in order to teach it. The best way to teach is to the best way to learn is to become a teacher. So at the very least, in order to teach it to other people, I have to learn. I have to know what I'm talking about, right? So, you know, it's the fool's journey. I was thinking about something else in my personal life that so I started out learning tarot, and now I'm at the point with tarot to where I can kind of teach it to others. So I'm doing that on YouTube. I'm also like doing readings for others, because I remember there was a time where it was like I was I felt very insecure about tapping into other people's energy. And can I do that? Can I like actually read other people? Like, how does that work? Am I going to be able to do that because I'm not psychic, you know? But also we all have the ability to have, psychic ability, and it may come out in different ways. It may be having very lucid dreams that are visions and tell you about the future. It may be having like visions during the daytime I don't have visions or anything like that. I don't have any beings whispering in my ear. You know, what I have is like intuitive nudges. I get very strong intuitive nudges, and I get like knowings, right? Like, especially when I'm doing readings, I'm definitely channeling spirit when I'm doing readings. And like, I'll have, like, I did a reading today where the messages from her reading were just coming out so loud. It was like her energy was so loud, and I had these cards laid out, and I couldn't even read the reading in order, because she had cards over here that were saying, pay attention to me. She had cards over here that were saying, pay attention to me. We connect. We have this energy and this energy have something to do with each other. And she had different energies, and they were all kind of saying, this is how we relate to each other. And, you know, and like, it wasn't something that I was hearing audibly. It was just something that I knew. I just had a knowing. So that's kind of, I'm not psychic, but I do have that clairvoyant ability to just know. And as you dive into different arts like tarot or whatever, like I have a neighbor who's very big into like herbology, and that's kind of her thing, and she knows a lot about that. So I don't know what kind of intuitive nudges she gets from that, but she just has, I think part of it too, she may just have a knowing of like, oh, you want to cure this? Like, I'll like do this, put this root and that root together, and you know, that this will cure it, you know? So she kind of has that type of knowing, right? So we all have the ability to tap into that, but you have to surrender, and you have to decide to take the leap. You know, you can't be scared to do stuff. See, you can't be scared to do stuff. You can't think that the devil is in everything, you know, because if you think the devil is in everything, you're going to find the devil in everything. So you have to open yourself up. So we have his small white dog. It could be his or her, right? Because this is representative of all of us. It could be a him or her, a they. So there's a small white dog is trying to warn of impending danger, right? The whiteness of the dog also, it symbolizes purity. White always symbolizes purity. So there's the white dog saying, because we always have those intuitive nudges saying, okay, take a risk, but don't be dangerous about it. Like, we get those nudges that are like, okay, do this, but beware of this. And that's kind of what the dog symbolizes. I had written down, I have notes here. I had written down more about the dog. I'll probably come across it. But yeah, that's basically what the dog means. Trying to ward off impending danger. But his face, look at the face. The face is like, it's looking up. There's like a whole cliff. There's a whole cliff, but the fool is looking up. It's like, okay, carefree. Like, I'm going to take the lead. Like, it's almost like he knows that there's a cliff there, but I'm going to take the lead anyway. And we don't know how far down this cliff goes. There might be like a ledge right here, and he can just jump down and like he's good. Like, we don't know that he's going to fall off a cliff, because this is the thing too. The fool is not about like taking a huge risk every time. Like, we take a lot of little risks. Talking to that person we don't know. Taking the risk of speaking instead of just walking by a person and saying nothing, because it's the little things in life that are really the big things in life. When, I hear, because I listen to near-death experiences, and people talk all the time about going to the other side and having a life review, and they're thinking, oh, I accomplished all these things. I graduated from school. I made good money. I had this good job. I had a great life, blah, 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 all these things. And they get over there and they do their life review, and they're like, okay, what ripples did you make in other people's lives? Like, did you better the lives of they're showing them the little things they did, the ice cream cone that you bought for that kid from the ice cream truck, the kid that couldn't afford it, the kid that was watching all the other kids get ice cream from the ice cream truck, and you bought them an ice cream. And that small act of kindness rippled out into other people. They decided to be that way when they were grown. They decided to see children in need and give back to those children, right? Just because you did that for them. And maybe they don't even talk to you and you're just a memory to them. But they probably still remember that one time that strange person or that grown up that they had no idea who they were gave them an ice cream. And and like on the other side, they're not thinking about, did you graduate from high school? Did you make a lot of money? Did you, you know what I'm saying? It's not that money isn't important, because we need money to get through our lifetimes here. And the more money we have, the more ability we have to give back to other people. But it's not about the money. And if you had the money, did you give back to other people? Did you create ripples in other people's lives? That's what life is about. So, when we begin a new journey, we don't know what to expect. And so this is really about optimism. Optimism of starting a new quest, beginning a new cycle. It's like I talked about life being that continuous loop from starting a new journey to completing a journey. That's what these cards represent. It's the beginning of the major arcana and the ending of the major arcana. So the major arcana is what's going on in the spiritual world, right? The minor arcana are the things that we're doing on an everyday basis. That's part of that journey. So it's like starting a new journey, and the minor arcana is like all the things that are happening along that journey. And then the other cards in the major arcana are like the big moments, the big spiritual moments throughout the journey, right? So it's the completion of the cycle, and it's starting a loop, ending a loop, starting a loop, and ending a loop. Every time there's an ending, there's a new start. And even before we might start a new journey, and even before we complete that journey, we're starting another new journey. So there's loops running together. You know what I'm saying? It's like constant. You might start several new journeys in one day. A person that you might have talked to 3 people in that day that started a journey with that person, either a friendship or you created a ripple with that person, and maybe they're going to come back later in your life and complete that cycle. You know, so we start little journeys throughout every single day. We're starting, I don't, you know, there's an infinite amount of possibilities, right? It's like the universe is so big and so vast. It's infinite. Everything about the universe is infinite. The infinite possibilities, the infinite journeys that we can start. I mean, only like, of course, there's like a beginning and an ending to our earthly life. So our earthly life is finite. There's only so many journeys you can start in your earthly life because it's finite. But in the spiritual realm, life is a circle. Everything is a circle. You know? It took me a while to like kind of wrap my brain around time. I have to draw this out. But it took me a while because somebody said to me, you know, time doesn't exist. And I was like, what you mean? Time does exist. But, you know, I thought about it. You know, I watched some videos on it. And this is what I've come up with. So time is a circle. It's like a bracelet. It's like this bracelet. It's actually even deeper than that, but I'm going to get into that. So it's like this bracelet, right? Every lifetime is like a different bead on the bracelet. So it goes around, it's a loop. So it goes around and it starts. So like every lifetime is happening at the same time because they're all beads on the bracelet. Right? It's like, if you think of a movie, think of like a film in a movie. I used to work at a movie theater, so this makes sense to me. But think of like film in a movie projector. Every frame in that movie has already been complete, and it's part of like it's part of the film, right? It's already been complete. Every frame is there. But the frames play one at a time, which creates the time in the movie. So you have a movie that's 2 hours long because you played each frame one at a time. But at the same time, every frame existed already, and that's how life is. It's like we're playing one frame at a time, but at the same time, all of our frames are already in existence. Right? So then, take a lifetime. So we also have different possibilities in each lifetime, and those possibilities go out this way, because I could make a decision that sends me this way. I can make a decision that sends me that way. I can make a decision that sends me this way. So we have all these timelines coming off of one life. Right? And it's infinite. There's an infinite amount of timelines. It's infinite. So when we get done with all these timelines, what do we have? We have a sphere. Right? Because there's also all these lives. So this life right here. So that's this life. That's this life, but we also have this life over here, which also has timelines. Right? So when you can do it for like every single life. See how the circle is becoming solid? So time is really spherical. And all time is a measurement of distance. So I'm here, and my friend lives in Colorado. And it's going to take me a certain amount of time to get there, right? But if I had the ability to be in Michigan, because I'm in Michigan, if I had the ability to be in Michigan and Colorado at the same time, I'm here and I'm here. It takes no time for me to get to Colorado. So time does not exist. So time is a measurement of how long it takes for the earth to revolve around the sun. The sun, earth. I'll make it bigger. The sun and earth. So it takes a year for the sun to go all the way around earth. What am I saying? It takes a year for the earth to revolve all the way around the sun. And it takes a day for the earth to make one revolution on its axis. Right? So that's how we measure time. But if you can be in both places at once, right? If you can be here and here at the same time, it doesn't take any time for the earth to go around. You know what I'm saying? You're already here and here. So it doesn't take any time. It's the same as the Fool and the world. It's the completion. Boo, 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 boo. Here's the Fool. Here's the world. So from a spiritual standpoint, it doesn't take any amount of time to complete the cycle from the Fool to the world. So that's why, and this is the thing. This is why I say tarot. Let me write this in big letters, y'all. I have to emphasize this. Tarot. Can you see this? Can you read that? Tarot is not fortune telling. Tarot is not fortune telling. Why? Because you have all these different timelines. So tarot is a measurement. Tarot is a measurement. Tarot is a measurement of your current vibration. When tarot talks about upcoming energy, I don't even like to say future energy. I like to say upcoming energy, the energy that's coming in for you. Tarot is measuring the most likely outcome based on your current vibration. And I've noticed, because I have people that come back to me every day for tarot readings, their tarot readings over time shift. I mean, their tarot readings can shift energy. It shifts the most dramatically after the first reading. If they've really taken in that reading and thought and if that reading really forced them to think about their life differently, you'll see a shift in their energy immediately. So, and also because time does not exist in the spiritual realm. And we are conscious creators. So if our consciousness shifts, it immediately creates a shift in our energy. So I can read your tarot reading today, and based on that reading, you start thinking about things differently, and you'll see a shift in your energy for tomorrow, and your future outcome can change based on that shift in energy, right? But because trauma is not in the spiritual realm, because there is no trauma in the spiritual realm. Trauma exists in the body. It's manifested into reality. So trauma takes time to heal because it's physical. So that's why they say time heals all wounds. And it might take you a year to get over something that happened, right? It's because in the physical body, trauma takes time to work out through our system, because energy is neither created nor destroyed. But as soon as you feel the energy of something that has happened to you, I'm getting into spiritual discussion here, y'all. I don't even have the tarot on. Oh, man. I feel like I'm having a sermon, doing a sermon right now. As soon, I need to write this down because this is big. As soon as we have an emotion, the energy of the experience has become a part of our energy body. That's hard for us to accept, because we don't want to accept that it's like, oh, that's not my energy, right? I don't claim that energy. That's not my energy. If that energy, you can feel that, you can feel that way if whatever the person did. If you don't, this is the thing. Let me slow down. When a person who we don't care about does something to us, and because we all know those people that we really don't care about, and they do something and it really doesn't have an impact on us, we don't feel anything. That's when you can say, that's you, that's not me, that's your energy, right? That's you, that's not me. I legitimately don't feel anything, because I understand that that's not my energy. That's your energy to work through, right? But if a person does something to you and makes you feel anything at all, that action, the energy of that action, because actions have vibration, actions have energy. We have low vibrational actions, we have high vibrational actions. So if a person does something to you that has a low vibrational density, and you have any kind of emotional reaction to it, it could be someone, an energy spans time and distance, like energy. That's why I can read people's energy over Facebook. I could literally, I don't, because I think it's unethical. I don't do what I'm about to say because it's unethical. But I could literally go through my Facebook friends list and do a tarot reading on all of their energies. That's probably how, like, people that do readings and then jump into your inbox talk about, ooh, I felt your energy and this, and that, trying to get money, trying to get you to pay money to have them. That's how they're doing that, because they're tapping into, but see, that's unethical. That's unethical. You don't, I'm not going to lie and say I know, because you know whose energy I do read, and I shouldn't. But this is something I need to get out of my system, is like for my family and like for my children, I do every now and then read their energy, right? I need to stop doing that. I know that I need to stop doing that. I don't do it every day, but it's not a healthy habit. But because I love my kids, it's like I'm checking on them, and I really need to let that go. But this is part of the trauma that I'm working through. But to just pick out a stranger and read their energy is unethical. It's like dipping into the medical files of a person that hasn't given you permission to read their medical files. It's not your business, right? And even though every now and then I read the energy of my children, it's like reading your kid's diary, which I always disagreed with that. I always thought that was very intrusive. So, you know, taking action is definitely a no-no. That's definitely not something I would do. I definitely would never contact my kids and be like, well, I did a tarot reading on you and it said yada, yada, yada. They need to figure stuff out on their own. They're on their own spiritual journey. It's one thing for them to call me and ask me, hey, Mom, I know you're reading tarot cards. Can you read mine? You know what I mean? They're not going to do that, though. But if they did that, then sure, I'll read your energy. But if a person hasn't come to me and said, can you read my energy? It's very invasive to read their energy against their will. One thing I will say is that it is a powerful thing to be able to read people's energy. And so it takes a lot of, and I think this is why people tend to frown on tarot. Well, it's not why they frown on it, but I do see that like reading tarot gives it. It's like it's not that like anybody, like everyone living has the power to tap into universal truth, right? We all have that power, and I get why people are concerned about people having that power, because they're worried about, like people don't always use that power for good. But it's not unlike people being in powerful positions, like powerful political offices and stuff like that, and using their power for bad. We all have the power to do good or bad, right? So it's what you decide to do with it. So I hope you learned some things about, man, I went through a lot. The multiverse, time. Time does not exist in the spiritual realm. No, it doesn't. You can literally change how you think about something in like a second, just by hearing information that changes your whole understanding of existence. You can change a lot. You can understand that you've been looking at things differently the whole time. Like, you can change a lot, but what you can't do right away is heal negative energy that's been stored in your energy body. If you were abused as a child and you buried that and you never dealt with it, it's going to take time to work through that energy and heal that energy, right? So just know that. But the point that I was this is the point of me talking about all that, is because if you get a tarot reading that talks about a future outcome and you don't like that outcome, you can change it by changing what's in your energy body, because whatever's in your energy body is what you attract into your life. It's like kind of the same thing as like you are what you eat. You are what's even more true than you are. But see, the reason you are what you eat is true is because even food has energy. Everything has vibration. Like, everything has vibration. So you are what you eat because food has vibration. Right? So you are what you think. You are how you treat other people. You are the energy that you decide to take into your body, period. So let's see. This has been like an hour. This is like an hour-long video, so I'm going to wrap this up. So you have the sun, and this is talking about like optimism, seeing the bright side, taking a journey and saying this is going to work out for the good, not thinking off rip like this is going to be horrible. You're taking a journey and saying this is going to work out. And even if it doesn't work out, believing that it's going to work out is the best way to try to make sure it works out. So the Fool represents new beginnings, trust and optimism, risk and adventure. So, some things that some questions you should ask yourself are, like, especially if the Fool comes up in a reading, are there any opportunities, big or small, for a fresh start? If you get the Fool and you're like, I don't know what they're talking about, ask yourself, are there any opportunities in my life, big or small, for a fresh start? Is there a person in my neighborhood that I can help out by creating a small ripple? One of the things I do is I give out crystals to people. That's kind of my thing, right? So what is your relationship to risk taking? So, like, you want to pack lightly. You don't want to be overburdened with your experiences. You want to constantly be working on healing. Healing is a never-ending journey. So you want to constantly be taking that healing journey. You're never going to be healed. You're always going to be healing, right? So and that allows you to pack lightly. That allows you to not carry such heavy burdens. So, like, when you're setting off on a dating journey to meet your one, if your bag is heavy, if you're the bag lady, you gonna miss your bus. You're gonna miss your love. You're gonna miss your bus. That bus that has your love on it. So what is your relationship with risk taking? Pack lightly. The cliff edge is symbolic of taking a risk, and we talked about, like, how, you know, that there might be a ledge right here that he can just, like, step down on, and it's not even a huge risk. It might be a cliff that he's actually jumping off of, but maybe there's a net at the bottom. You know, trusting in the universe to catch you if you fall. You know, does this, how often do you go outside your comfort zone, and how far do you go? Does this experience feel exciting? Whatever experience you're taking off on, does it feel exciting and expansive, or does it feel out of alignment? Because the Fool's journey helps us understand when we are in alignment with our higher self. Listen to your emotions, because your emotions are a compass to soul alignment. There's also a dark side of the Fool. You know, are you too trusting? Are you too optimistic? Are you taking dangerous risks? Do you trust in life? Are you able to surrender? Are you able to just, like, take that leap off of the cliff and trust the universe to catch you? You know? So realizing that life is opening up to you. Every time you have the opportunity to take the leap and to go on a new journey, life is opening up to you. So, you know, dive into it. Learn how to dive into it, even if you feel like you look like a fool, right? Don't be afraid to look like a fool. Let go of the fears. Because the more you let go of the fears and the more you trust the universe, the more the universe, the bigger that net is going to get, and the stronger that net is going to get, to where when you take a risk, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught by the net. You're going to get caught by the universe. You are going to be protected. So that, like, every time you go out on a journey, it's really always going to be about a learning experience for you, because you've learned to trust the universe. So that is the Fool card, y'all. This was a long video. It's like an hour, I think. I did cover a lot of information in it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Please comment below. I'd love to hear your comments. I will be doing a video a week, and I'm going to be changing the name of this channel today. So we'll see what it is. We'll see what I decide to change it to. It's going to be something tarot, though. It's going to be reflective of the fact that there's almost exclusively tarot on this channel, tutorials and deck walkthroughs. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will holler at you later. See you next week. Bye.